Okay, good evening. Welcome to LifeBridge Church. I want to thank the church for giving us this venue. Yay, so people... We don't get this many people at our BOT meetings, so it's a little intimidating up here. But we now have a venue where everyone can be inside, comfortable, able to listen and have easy parking. So thank you very much, LifeBridge Church. This is being recorded video and will be posted on the town's website directly after. I want to thank Brian Donnell and the other volunteers that have made that happen. Well, we're 2 weeks into it. It feels like 2 years sometimes. Search and rescue ended on Friday, and we've now moved into the recovery stage. This is not only a transition of functions, we're moving from the sprint to the marathon. The pace continues to feel like a sprint, but now we're in it for the long haul. And we have a lot of rebuilding to do of our community. We have a fantastic team in place. The staff has done a phenomenal job. I want to recognize, which I forgot last meeting, individually the Lyons Board of Trustees. We have Kirk Udovich, Mayor Pro Tem, Connie Sullivan, Sandy Banta, Dawn Weller, Laverne Johnson, and Dan Greenberg. This is your leadership team, and everyone's working around the clock. We also have a growing number of agency partners at all levels. We are not alone in this. If anyone's worried that it's just the handful of staff and board and volunteers, we have a legion of agencies that are with us and helping us. These are often our long-term partners. Boulder County on all of their departments. The Department of Local Affairs at the state level, and we have some representatives with us tonight that are going to give you a little introduction of what they do. And we had Reeves Brown, who is the director of the Department of Local Affairs, at our Board of Trustees meeting last Monday. So they are taking a personal interest in what's going on in Lyons. We had the CEO of Foothills United Way not only visiting Lyons, but Saturday in the neighborhoods helping to direct relief efforts. Honeywell International, where's Gary? He's right here. Oh, front and center. And Albert's Wastewater, the technical team. Fortunately, we had in place before in all the work we've been doing on designing and our options for a new wastewater treatment plant. We are in a really good place. We've done capital improvement plans thanks to our engineer, Jim Blankenship. If ever you're prepared to answer infrastructures, Lyons is in that spot. We spent the last 2 years studying our infrastructure. So we have a GIS, we have all kinds of information on streets, sewer, water that helps in the recovery stage. A great deal has been accomplished since last week. We have not had enough time to sit down and announce it as it goes. So we're going to use these weekly announcements to give you an idea of just how much work is being done in Lyons. We are not just studying. Earth is moving. Lines are being pulled up in place. It's unbelievable the amount of construction that is happening in town for those of you that have been there. So we want you to know that physical changes are taking place every day. We're not just talking about what we're going to do. Also, more and more is known about what's going on. The infrastructure status, that's our big issue. Quite frankly, that takes time. You don't look at all your pipes at once underground. You have to find them. We're still looking for some of those pipes. So every day we've known more about what our situation is. An initial estimate of the public infrastructure damage to replace in Lyons is $42 million. And that is not yet complete. That doesn't include buildings. it doesn't include private, but doesn't even include public buildings. And staff was going to give a status report, more detail on those repairs that are underway and on our infrastructure situations. So I'm going to leave that to them. The other things we've accomplished in just the week since we last had our community meeting, there is now the Lyons Resource Center set up and running at the DAC, the Disaster Assistance Center, at the Twin Peaks Mall. We all have to learn a whole new set of acronyms. That's where FEMA is based, Boulder County Assistance Organizations, and we now have a Lyons Resource Area. If you have not been there, please stop by. You'll be greeted by a friendly volunteer Lyons face. We are using that as our town hall away from town hall, if you will, for things like the Lyons Business Recovery Team that has been formed with the Economic Development Commission and the Chamber of Commerce, looking at what we can do quickly to keep our businesses going. This is staffed by volunteers. I want to thank Janelle Tucker, all the volunteers out there, everyone that's signed up. That's where you get your permits. It looks like a little town hall counter out there. It's really fabulous, and it's staffed almost entirely by volunteers, so thank you. We've also started, since we last spoke, a residential and business cleanup program. This is structured, it's on the ground, and is pretty impressive. The problem was we have all these homes that were filled with muck. So and we had all these organizations that wanted to help. But that's an intimate space. There's a lot of construction going on. We didn't want people tripping all over each other. We wanted it to be done in an orderly, efficient fashion. So with the help of Foothills United Way on the organizational side, we started on Saturday with Team Rubicon, which is a military vet organization. They've done an unbelievable job. They've gone in and done house assessments, which basically sets up a work order, what needs to be done. There have been 320 structures already assessed. 62 work orders have been filed, and it's estimated that by now there's about 40 homes that have been completed or are well underway in our most affected neighborhoods. 5 other agencies are on the ground working in that system: Samaritan's Purse, Convoy of Hope, Christian Aid Ministries, Nichama, and the Colorado Baptists, and LifeBridge. LifeBridge entered, I think, today. All of these agencies have experience. They're vetted at the state level. They have their credentials. They're tracking their time and materials. That becomes part of the Town of Lyons counterpart funds for our FEMA match. So they're making money for the town. They're making it possible for us to finance the big reconstruction, as well as solving immediate needs of our citizens. So we thank them on both fronts. It's estimated that by tomorrow, they'll probably have 175 people on the ground working with our homes. And it's been a big relief to a lot of people that were risking their own health getting in there and mucking out. And if you are continuing to do that, please use masks. It's dangerous. And please consult these agencies that just want to help you do that. The other thing that we've done in the last week is we're starting to learn the rules of the game. None of us have been through this before that are up here. Today we had the formal, the next stage of the FEMA assessment, rapid assessment. A team was there for hours and hours going over everything that has happened in Lyons. And I was really encouraged by their comment. Looking at the report that staff developed in the midst of all this, they said it was an outstanding identification of damage assessment. Lyons is showing fantastic organization, and compared to communities our size across the country, we are way above average in our ability to respond. We've also identified a bit how the financing is going to go, and we're going to need a lot of money. So myself and others are going to be kind of chasing the dollars. Volunteer efforts count, and we're going to need help from the state and county, even on our share. That's a big bill when your general fund is a little over $1 million a year. So that's going to become a major preoccupation. We're getting a little better at communication. Our phones and cell phones are working better. The town website is up. Some of the town email works. So for everyone that's been sending emails to the townoflyons.com, it's not that we haven't wanted to respond. None of the board members have gotten them. So we've had massive communication challenges, but we're getting over those. We have decided we will have 2 weekly public contacts. On Monday at 5:30 Board of Trustees meeting, where the board will continue to do business. Those will be held in the Longmont City Council chambers. They'll be live streamed. And then every Thursday in LifeBridge here, we'll have the community update meeting, which will allow for questions and presentations, information. So this is where you're going to get your official information. I hope this helps to dispel the rumor mill. I think we all understand that in the absence of information, a lot of things get invented. Let me publicly state that it's not my intention or any of the people I've ever talked to eliminate affordable housing in Lyons. I don't know where that is going around. There is no nefarious scheme behind a closed door to turn Lyons into McMansions. I mean, we do participatory planning in Lyons. We've always done that. We're not going to change. We have strong boards and commissions. We always take lots of public input. We're going to plan our redevelopment future in Lyons just like we've planned our comprehensive plan, like we're planning our sustainability action plan, with the full participation of all of our voluntary boards and commissions, our citizens. But today is not the day we're doing that. We're still mucking out homes, trying to figure out where the pipes are below the river. So all the speculation, it would be helpful if it just died down. When we get home and we have lights on, we will start planning our future. Nothing's being done behind some closed door without you knowing. But we need to balance getting things done with public reporting. Things are moving fast. The information today is not the same as the information yesterday. And it's not because yesterday's information was wrong. It's just that things are changing. We're finding out a lot more of what we can do, what needs to be done, different ways of approaching infrastructure problems. And we will collect issues during the week from the help desk and at the resource center at the Twin Peaks Mall. Some of us will be looking at Facebook. I will not be answering Facebook anymore. I learned my lesson. And we'll collect those issues and kind of try and address them each Thursday. We know what the main concerns are. You know, we're not some detached bunch of bureaucrats or elected officials. We're your neighbors and friends. We have lived through this with you. You don't need to tell us what it feels like to not be in your house. And you don't have to worry that we're not concerned about our businesses. Many of us own them in town. We know personally what it feels like to lose income and sleep and have our kids going to a different school. So we're living this with you. We're definitely in touch with that. And, I think that the mark of a great community is that we're considerate of each other in these extraordinary times. And this is an extraordinary time for Lyons. And we will need to be kind and gentle with each other as we get through this. We're all doing our best, and it's easy to get frustrated. We've all had our moments of wanting to just throw up our hands and scream at someone. I would ask you that it not be of staff, please. We're trying to get through this. They gotta like getting to the office the next day. We have a whole bunch of information tonight, and I have a couple announcements before I hand over the mic. We have Oscar Blues. What better partner has Lions have than Oscar Blues? Has started a Cand-Aid Foundation. They are taking flood relief applications for assistance. And I didn't get the name, sorry, but look for the Dale's Pale Ale can sweatshirt, gray guy. What? Oh, Chad, sorry. I'm having brain cramp. I know, sorry. I am tired. Anyway, he's got applications and would be, if you need help, please. There are many other ways that are also going to start coming online through the Lyons Community Foundation and these other organizations. So, but this is the first one. It's immediate. These guys are a great presence in Lyons, and you know, if you need help, please find him and get an application. LifeBridge Church has flood cleanup kits available tonight in the lobby. Please take one. And the Lyons Community Church has flood cleanup buckets, and you can pick them up in town at 11 a.m. Sunday at 4th and Main at the Lyons Community Church.
Julie, we also have those at,
Sorry?
we also have those at the elementary school now.
Oh, and we have them at the elementary school from Lowe's, is it?
It was from Lowe's.
Yeah. So there's lots of help cleaning up. The LifeBridge Church also wanted to announce that if you need help, they have residents who can help you salvage personal items and all kinds of help. Just contact LifeBridge Church. I'm sure someone in the lobby can orient you because they're here to help you. There's an important community meeting on Monday, September 30th, and we'll put this on the town website, from mental health partners on coping with the emotional trauma caused by the recent flood disaster. Everyone is welcome, encouraged to attend. Topics will be covered from kind of recognizing and identifying the signs of stress and trauma to how to talk to your kids about the flood and its impact. You know, we kind of keep on keeping on, but there's an emotional cost that we're all going through. So part of staying healthy is staying emotionally healthy. So for yourself and friends and family. That's Monday, September 30th at 7. St. Vrain Valley School District Board of Education, 395 South Pratt Parkway in Longmont, and we'll post this. Okay, tonight we have, in our informational section of tonight, we have, one more announcement. Okay, for people outside of town limits that want to test their wells for bacterial contamination, which is highly recommended, there will be an opportunity to have your water samples delivered to the lab in Gun Barrel on Monday morning. Bring your water samples to the front desk at the Town of Lyons temporary facility at the elementary school by 9:30. The test kits can be had from Sherry Hoffer. Sherry, you want to raise your hand? Where are you? You here? She's got them here. She's got 18 test kits here tonight, and her number's 303-442-4374. I think just find her if you want a test kit. Okay, and we'll put that up. We'll try and keep information flowing on the Town of Lyons website and at the Resource Center for all these important kind of donations and activities going on. But now I want to turn to some of our partner organizations that are here. Don Sandoval from the Department of Local Affairs. Don is a honorary member of the Lyons community. Don is the regional representative for DOLA with Lyons and has supported us in our comprehensive plan grant, I mean numerous activities in town. Our intern program, Jeremy Matson, who is the intern par extraordinaire. Anyway, Don, you want to come up and say a little word about DOLA and some of the agencies that you have here?
Good evening. I just want to say you have a fantastic group of leaders here in your community. As folks have said earlier, that they're above average. They're way above. They're excellent to deal with and to work with, and they're doing a great job for you. And please support them all the way through this. This is a long process. It's going to take a long time to get through everything that needs to be done to get the community back to where it wants to be. And the Department of Local Affairs is going to be there to help in any way we can throughout the whole process and beyond. So we want to let you know that. So one of the things that we do is we try to bring resources to the community. And so some of the resources are here tonight. We're going to give them a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about what their resources are, and then they're going to be available to you at the end of the meeting if you have more specific questions and need some help from them. So I'm going to start off with Sarah Buss. You know that Boulder County has been a tremendous partner in helping all the communities in its area, in its county, to get back on its feet as well as its own citizens. So Sarah is here from the Housing and Human Services, and so she's going to have a couple minutes to present some of this information and where she's going to be.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. First of all, I just wanted to extend my heart to all of you and what you're going through. I was lucky to survive it. I was in Lafayette, and the line got to about 200 yards from my house, so we were nervous, but it stayed away, and just all of us at Housing and Human Services in Boulder County are thinking of you in Lyons and know that we're here for you and with you as you go through this process. So Housing and Human Services primarily has been running the intake aspects of the disaster assistance centers so far, so we've been really working to make sure that it's an efficient process, that we're helping people, greeting people warmly with case managers, listening to folks and letting folks tell their story possibly for the first time, hearing what resources they might need that are available at the DACs, and then kind of escorting them to the different areas, including FEMA and our own DHHS table, as well as damage mitigation, cleanup, mental health services, acupuncture, whatever you may need at the DAC. So we've been doing that 9 to 7 every single day. Our staff gets there it's usually about 8 to 8 that we've been running that at both locations in Boulder and Denver. And just to give you guys a sense of how many people we've seen, by the 3 o'clock today, we have seen a total of 3,622 households, some of which have come in again, but the majority are new households. 1,194 of them have been at the Boulder DAC, and 2,428 have been at the Longmont DAC. So we have been very busy. At the HHS table, we are providing food replacement assistance, so those who are on food assistance who lost their food can get replacement through the HHS table. And then we also have DSNAP, which is Disaster Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So that's available just for anybody who, it's a slightly a higher income level cutoff, and if you lost all your food in the disaster, then you can apply for assistance and get a month's worth of assistance. And that last day to apply is tomorrow, and you can apply at either of the DACs. We've also started collecting information about housing needs, giving gift cards to people who don't qualify for other services, transportation, bus passes, taxi vouchers, vouchers to thrift stores, and in some cases water heater replacements through our LPAC program. And I just wanted to let you know that now we're going to be transitioning as the DACs start to wind down. We are definitely in this for the long haul. We are here to help, and we are preparing a program that will help with the long-term disaster recovery. We're definitely looking at housing. We sent out an announcement the other day that housing is very, very scarce in Boulder County. It's extremely scarce for those who need 3 months or less, a temporary place to live, basically, until you move back into your home. We have been working intensely to partner with some local businesses, including Housing Helpers of Boulder, and they are working diligently to locate and secure landlords who are willing to lease up to people within Boulder County or very close to, like Broomfield, And so far they've secured 40 units for landlords that are willing to take 3 months, lease somebody up for 3 months. We're contributing some dollars to that via United Way to make sure that the landlords feel that they can afford to turn over apartments that quickly. And it's a great collaborative, so we are working very diligently to find those resources, and you can locate the Housing Helpers website and other housing placement websites on our website, the bouldercountyflood.org, and it'll have all the resources there. So stay tuned for what's going to have to happen after the DAC closes. We will be available for you, and we're working on a transition plan right now. So
Thank you very much. Boulder County has been great in providing services. Next, we're going to have Bruce Glazier from the Colorado Division of Insurance come up and talk a little bit about the services and information that they may have. But in the meantime, Boulder County also has some folks here from their Department of Health that they'll be in the back to answer some questions there as well. Bruce?
Thank you, Don. I thought it would be helpful to maybe answer some of the questions that we're hearing down at the Division of Insurance about whether there's coverage or not. If your home actually had the water come up through the sewer system and you have a special endorsement on your homeowner's policy for backup of sewer and drain, that is usually a limited coverage amount, but that would be one area where you could get coverage. If the water started in the sewer, through the sewer, and then the flood waters actually came across your land into your house, generally that is not covered, but it's always good to at least ask for an opinion. You can also always call the Division of Insurance and explain your situation to us. If you have lost your vehicle due to floodwaters and you had comprehensive coverage, then coverage would apply for that through your auto policy. If you did not have comprehensive coverage, then that would not be covered. Some questions that we've gotten is, well, my vehicle was not damaged, but I can't get to it. I'd like to have a rental vehicle provided by the insurance company. There's no coverage for that because your vehicle wasn't damaged. The same goes with your, if you cannot get into your home. Additional living expense is not covered because there either wasn't any damage to your home, or if it was damaged by the actual floodwaters, then since that is not covered under your policy, neither is the additional living expenses. The Division of Insurance is always willing to listen to what you're telling, what your question is, and provide the information to you so that you can feel more confident about whether you have coverage or not. In addition, although FEMA handles flood claims, we can talk you through the claims process so that you can understand what the procedures are going to be for having that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. Of course, people do want to hear from the partners in our federal government, and so FEMA is here in force and to help not only the individuals but local governments. So we have here Tim Scranton from FEMA and his team members to talk a little bit about FEMA floods, flood mitigation, and other things. So, Tim?
Good evening. As he stated, my name is Tim Scranton. I'm a federal coordinating officer with FEMA. My area of responsibility is Boulder County. So really my role here is to facilitate the needs of the city and the county and the state, the federal government, and bring all them together and eliminate roadblocks and bureaucracy for all of you. And I know that we have limited time here tonight. I just wanted to introduce myself, but really get the subject matter experts up here and just tell you a little bit about some of the programs that we have And then, of course, we'll be standing by at the side of the sanctuary after this conclusion of the meeting. So I'll ask our IA person to come up and give a short brief.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Tamara Sendral. I represent FEMA, Individual Assistance. I'm just going to kind of give you an overall of, what we're here to do and what we want you to do so that we can get you some assistance. When the disaster happens, the first thing that occurs, local agencies and the county comes together and starts helping one another. And then once the declaration is made federally, FEMA steps in, and what we exhort everyone is to apply. No matter how minimum or how maximum your damages may be, we need to know this. So we want everyone to make an application, go through the procedure. The application process will help us know where we can put you, what assistance you need, what agencies we need to refer you to, and it helps us know what we need to provide the communities with to begin the long recovery process. And basically that's what we're here for. We have many disaster recovery centers. We always exhort and recommend, please visit them. That's why we're here. Do not go to them and leave with any doubts or questions. We want to help you. We want to take you by the hand and guide you through the step-by-step procedures. As I always explain it, you register and then we take you from there to all the assistance you need, all the way to the long-term recovery, which will take some time. And we're here to clarify, to help you. We thank you for having us, and that's what we're here for. So please, at the end, if you do have any questions, FEMA programs may help with everything from home repairs, personal property, vehicles. We refer you to unemployment. We provide you with legal service referrals, tax assistance. So we have all these resources, and they're provided to us by the state itself. So please register if you have not done so, no matter what damage you may or may not have, and we'll assist you in the processing procedures that follow. Thank you, and if you have any questions at the end, I'll be available.
Good evening. My name is Ron Landsverk. I'm a national flood insurance, they say expert. I don't like using that term too often. I've been doing this now with FEMA for about 11 years, and I have to congratulate the community. I've never seen a community meeting this well attended and a community that's been so well organized. So really, from my standpoint, working with communities, you really are up there. Yeah. One of the things that we do with the National Flood Insurance Program, of course, is settle claims, but I can't do that for you tonight. I could assist you with that. There's a few community members, I think I see Vicki down there right now, and a few others that I've seen back here in the last couple of days. I will help you with your claims issues or understanding the policies of the National Flood Insurance Program. It's complicated. It's a single peril, covers water, and it has to be by flood, but it gets very complicated. We will be over here, I think, when we're done, and I will take names and visit with you individually, but I won't do it in public because your loss is private, confidential information, so I won't discuss it in the wide open. I hope you understand that. And I would also encourage you to understand a couple of things. You've probably seen a FEMA inspector around Lyons looking at the homes. That comes from the individual side of FEMA. Next, you will see a homeowner's adjuster perhaps, but a flood insurance adjuster, and they will identify themselves. But we don't stop there, because coming on the floodplain side of everything, a few more inspectors will be in your community. It seems overwhelming at times, but I just caution you that they will be coming and expected, and it's not unusual. So if you have any questions on the flood insurance program, I'm not here to talk about your homeowner's program. Bruce could help you with that. We'll be back over here and we'll get the answers back to you within 48 hours. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Frankie Omita. I represent the Division of Mitigation, which is two parts to that. We have the public assistance and part of the individual assistance as well. Most of the programs that involve mitigation has to do with grants. At this time, we're not dealing with the grants. When the time comes, if it's possible, you'll be known and through your city's officials or the state as well. We also have the outreach program, which is a partner with hardware stores such as Lowe's and Home Depot. So we'll be beginning that program soon. And you could go to these stores and ask different questions about mitigation techniques, and we'll have mitigation specialists as well to answer those questions. And we also have insurance specialists at those locations and the DRCs as well. So don't be afraid to go up to them and answer or ask those questions. They'll be there for you at all times, okay? Good night.
So we also have a representative from SBA, Shanil Kumar. If you can talk a little bit about quickly about the SBA programs, we appreciate that.
Good evening, everyone. I see some familiar faces that I've had the pleasure of interacting with the past few days. Thanks for having us tonight. My first time in Colorado, frankly, and I love this environment. You folks are warm, hospitable, Boulder, mountains, but there's disaster, unfortunately, behind it, so we're here to help. Let me introduce my colleague, Bill Coons. Bill, we're both fellow PIOs, Public Information Officers. And there are three things that I'd like for you folks to remember this evening, and we'll post all this information on the town website. First thing, we have to register by the 14th of November. That is a statutory deadline 60 days after the president announces a physical declaration and an economic injury declaration. Once you register with FEMA, it opens doors to provide assistance for individuals through the SBA and opens up doors for businesses also. And if I may ask Dawn briefly to make a shameless plug for us, please. I'm sorry?
Tell them what SBA stands for.
Absolutely. Thank you. The SBA stands for, I was going to get to that, stands for Small Business Administration. Thank you. It stands for the Small Business Administration. And another takeaway really is, it's an oxymoron. What does the Small Business Administration really do? We assist homeowners, renters, businesses, and private nonprofits alike. We're the primary source of funds for repair, replacement, for the underinsured, and for lack of compensation from insurance companies. There's some statutory limits that I want to talk to you folks about. Homeowners can borrow up to $200,000 on their primary residence. Homeowners can also borrow up to $40,000, renters $40,000, and businesses can borrow up to $2 million for economic injury. What economic injury really means is that if your business is shut down for whatever reason, and there's no physical damage to your business, the system will step in to assist with fixed expenses that you otherwise would have made had the disaster not occurred. 3 ways to apply: the web, over the telephone, and in person. Closest one, I believe, is the 1250 Twin Peaks Mall. And we have a business-dedicated facility and also one for homeowners. I think I'm at my time, right? Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you. You folks, be patient, work hard like you have been. We do appreciate that. We're going to set up some long-term recovery committees over a period of time with all the communities that have been damaged by the floods, and so we're here for the long haul. And Mayor, and your community is fabulous, and we hope to get it back to where it was.
So each Thursday, we're going to try and roll out these resource and information folks help you know what's available to you. But the real heart of these community meetings is getting an update from our local officials. Victoria Simonson, our administrator, who continues to do an incredible job, is going to... And we have our fire chief, JJ, is here. Will be... And they have both been working extremely hard on figuring out some of these infrastructure phasing issues, and we have some news on that, and I know that's a preoccupation of most people tonight.
Thank you all. It's nice to see you again, and thank you for that round of support. I think our staff and our contractors are going to continue to need that support every week that we meet with you. I do want to tell you, first of all, that the Board of Trustees has also been working really tirelessly to try to help make decisions, and being willing to meet with you, or to meet on the spur of the notice, to come up with policy decisions and contract decisions to get our community back in order as quickly as possible. For those of you who weren't here last week, Jim Blankenship is the town engineer, and he's our contract staff. He's contracted by the Town of Lyons, and he's worked with us for, 11 years. So he's very, very familiar with our town and our infrastructure. But he has been working up to this point quite solely trying to piece together our road and bridge situation, water, and with the help of Honeywell and Albert's wastewater on our wastewater system. And we are really hopeful that with FEMA arriving this week and meeting with them one-on-one tomorrow, that we'll be able to get Jim some additional assistance so that we can be engineering and designing and constructing simultaneously. So I do want to give you some basic updates, and if you have technical questions, we have two gentlemen from XL Energy here to talk about gas. Jim can speak to water, roads, bridges, and we have Honeywell and Alberts who can speak to wastewater. But I do know the mayor is we want to try to keep this meeting to an hour and a half each week. So I want to just kind of race through and give you an update on different infrastructure progress that we made this week and what our intent is for the following week. And I do know that, of course, one of the first things that we do want to address tonight is going to be gas and electric, because we know that there's lots of people who are hoping we can get that to the head of the schedule. But if you will hear me out for a few minutes, I'll give you some basic updates. First of all, in response to last week, we did start the permit process. I told you guys that if it went well and people were organized and orderly and going into their neighborhoods, that we would open that up. And we did that. So I hope you appreciate that, and you are able to get in and out of your homes freely, and if you have a permit, if you are a contractor, and by a license if you are a resident. So as you guys all know, you did a great job on that, and we want to make sure you can get in and out of your homes as you need to. The bridges and roads. In case you haven't been in town today, we made some major progress today. McConnell Bridge was inspected by CDOT formally this week. They have identified that it is not damaged. So we will not have to rebuild McConnell Road, or McConnell Bridge. We do need to rebuild the road. Not the bridge, but we still don't have any water under our bridge. And so the river is still 250, 300 feet away from the bridge. And we did have a meeting with folks from the Army Corps of Engineers Boulder County, Longmont, and other municipalities along the St. Vrain. It does appear there is going to be an application submitted to have the river returned to its pre-flood area, okay? Now that decision, it's very clear, FEMA will not pay for that to occur, okay? So they are working with an agency some of you might be familiar with called the National Resource Conservation Services. They will be the folks between them and the Army Corps of Engineers to decide where the river will be returned to its pre-flood area and where it won't, as well as be the financiers of that happening. Okay? So it does appear, though, that Longmont, Boulder, City of Boulder are submitting an application to return it, just so you know that. They have indicated that they can respond to that application fairly quickly in this circumstance, knowing that we can't build roads and bridges until we know the answer to that. So I'm hopeful that maybe next week we will know in our situation where the river will be located. The other bridge that was inspected this week that's a local bridge was a 2nd Avenue bridge. The 2nd Avenue bridge took quite a hit to its infrastructure underneath. For those of you familiar with bridge talk, there are 7 piles that go under that bridge, and 3 of the 7 are gone, and the 4th is compromised. And so we will be working next week to try to reinforce and replace those 4 that are compromised. In the meantime, they're very clear that we can only use 1 lane for only vehicles that need to access that to get to the wastewater plant to get that repaired. So there's 1 lane open, very, very restricted, in the hopes that we can salvage our bridge at a price tag of around $250,000 instead of needing to replace that bridge at $1.8 million. So unfortunately, looks-wise, it's not the prettiest bridge, but we want to save it if at all possible so that we can continue to work at the wastewater treatment plant. There is quite a bit of debris under the bridge. That's also a priority to get that removed, so if we have any more rain, we don't lose that 4th pile. So that's the 2 updates on the bridges. Road updates. Unfortunately, several roads down in what I'm going to call the southwest section of town that was the hardest hit are gone. We have several homes we can't even get to down there, and we tried to make some temporary roads to allow people to be able to get in and out to do their house cleaning and start that process. We did build today a temporary road on 2nd Avenue. So we can now drive from the 2nd Avenue Bridge out to Lyons Valley Village. And that's exciting. Yes. Because of the bridges integrity being compromised, we are not going to allow the public to drive that yet. Okay? It's meant as a secondary access for emergency vehicles. But it is 1 step closer, to getting people home so that if there was a need for fire protection, they could use that route. And that the vehicles that will be reconstructing and rebuilding our wastewater treatment plants have a way to move around that area better. So amazingly, we put in 8 culverts today and a temporary road. Tomorrow we'll get some edges put on it, and we have a way in and out, a secondary access in and out of for lack of better terms, the Lyons Valley Park Island is no longer an island, which is nice. So those were two major strides today on bridges and roads. In regard to gas and electric, when I met with you last week, we were in the process of moving the electric line along Highway 36 between Upumpit and the fire station. If you recall, it was still in the river, and we were able to rebuild that line on the north side of the highway It is gorgeous, it looks beautiful, and is now functional. We took power to the fire department this week, and we took power to the elementary school so that we could continue some continuity of operations with our local government and our recovery efforts. The Board of Trustees and the staff and the fire department are all very much aware that people are getting concerned that the weather's getting cooler. And how can we winterize and weatherize our home until we are fully restored in our homes. The Board of Trustees had a special meeting tonight. They did discuss at length the possibility of energizing electric and gas before sewer and water is completed. Do you remember last week I said the order was going to be sewer, water, gas, electric and gas? In light of the weather and the changing conditions, and now having a better grasp on what it's going to take to restore our water and wastewater, they have made the decision to allow me to start energizing electric and gas service very orderly, very methodically, to protect structures and to allow businesses to get back in there and start operating. Okay? Now, there's a couple caveats with that, a couple caveats on that. First and foremost, it's really important for you to understand that turning on gas and electric comes with some major safety concerns, okay? It is important to know that the Lyons Fire Protection District has very limited ability to respond to a fire right now, okay? So if I make electricity and gas available, it will be literally property by property. You need to understand that if you do that, you are taking the liability to know that if there were to be an emergency requiring fire protection, that will be diminished capacity than what we're used to. Okay? It is up to you as a homeowner or property owner to contact your insurance company and make sure they know that. We would hate for you to think you're covered, or they think you're covered, and find out after the fact that things are different. So we are, and I'm telling the board and I'm telling you, I'm hoping that actually we might start some energizing late tomorrow in very limited areas, and I'm going to focus on that commercial district first. Okay? If you're willing to sign a waiver that I understand that there is limited fire protection and that I am responsible in regard to liability if there's damage caused to me or my neighbor. So those are big decisions you need to think about, okay? We're willing to bring you the power and the gas, but you need to understand it's very serious. The responsibility has to be yours personally to make sure that you're not going to create a fire for your neighbor. All right? Now, Safe Built, who is our building inspector, has come up with a list of things you can do in the meantime to winterize and weatherize your house or your buildings, okay? That will be available on our website. I think it's available now, but if not, by morning. And I'll have some handouts out there. Those are things you can do in the meantime to protect your pipes and your appliances from freezing. We are not expecting, and it's really important that you know, the first time the temperature hits 32, your pipes aren't necessarily going to freeze unless they're exposed. It depends on the circumstances, and every situation is different, but it usually takes several days or a length of time under 32 degrees to cause that kind of damage. So although I know we're all getting a little nervous about that weather and that snow on the mountains, it's so beautiful, It really is. You have time if you take it in the next week or two to prepare, okay, while we're getting a plan in place. I've told the Board of Trustees that by next Thursday when I meet with you, I hope to have a time frame and a plan that I can share with you neighborhood by neighborhood of what you can expect for your utility restoration. Every neighborhood is very, very different. What is available in Eagle Canyon is very different than what might be available in Stone Canyon. And it all depends on where you are in relation to a water line or a sewer line or an electric line that was damaged, okay? So hopefully next Thursday, I would like to be able to show you like a PowerPoint of a map of your neighborhood and say, this is what our temporary plans are to get these things restored, all right? So by Thursday, Jim, we will have our best estimate on temporary services. Now it's important to realize some of these are very temporary. We might be able to get a temporary water line in place, and then at some point we'll have to shut it down when we go to the permanent water. You know, we are in a major disaster, all right? We all have to be patient, and we need to do things by the rules that FEMA has so that we get the greatest reimbursement possible for our community, all right? So what I'm going to tell you is you're going to get notified that this neighborhood is going to be offered electric and gas. And I'm going to give you a time frame because we will not light up any neighborhood without Excel Gas and the fire department and the town present. And you have to be there to say, yes, I want it turned on to my property, and sign your name, okay? So I need you to think about that over the next couple days. This is really important. Although we are willing at this point to bring in electric and gas before sewer and water, it is very, very important to remember that that does not mean your house or your business is habitable. As long as we do not have water and sewer, your home is not habitable. Okay? Electric and gas will be convenient. So when you go home to check things, you can turn the lights on and you can, check this or that or turn the furnace on when it gets hot. But it doesn't mean we want you to live there just because you have electric. All right? Until we have sewer and water, it is still our recommendation that you not be staying there. All right? There's one other thing with that. We will notify people when we're ready to bring on a block or two or a line of electric. The system is very different, throughout town, and in some places it might be a row of houses, and others it might be a block. But we will notify you. And if you're not there, when we get there, we will leave a door knocker that's going to say, you're home, we are now ready to turn this on. If you would like to contact us these hours, we're not going to come out at midnight like when the electric company. It's going to be during business hours because we have to have all 3 people present to do it. And we want to make sure we stay there and do it with you so that it's safe, okay? I can't remember what I was going to say about water, but it might come back. So, starting very soon, we're going to get some of our main businesses, or some businesses up and running, and from there we will expand into neighborhoods. Heck, by next week when I meet with you, we might have a large portion of you back on electric. Yes? No. The Board of Trustees has talked about this, and we know that there are some really unsafe habits right now. Things that are happening, people with generators or propane heaters or those sorts of things are just as much a fire hazard. And so they have weighed this and have decided that the town will make it available to those places that have been tested and inspected and ready to be turned back on. But it's your decision as a property owner if you want it turned on to your building. No, I don't, I think that's up to you individually to decide. And I can't control what your neighbor does, so you need to think about that. Or if you want to wait until we have more water in place to offer fire protection at a level we're more used to. You need an expert to advise you, and I talked to your insurance agent. Okay, I'm going to take questions at the end. Sure, we can work on that. Sure, we can figure out something. We know some people are gone, and they'll have a door knocker, but if they want to contact us and demonstrate that it's the actual property owner authorizing it, we will work on that. So again, kind of like your permits, we need a little time, there'll be a few bugs in the system, but we want to help, we want to respond to what the public is saying, and we're hearing you say, we don't want to wait for water and sewer. And that is maybe okay in some areas, but you have to take personal responsibility for it. Yes? Sure. Come on up. XL Gas has been working so closely with us and doing such a great job getting the system ready to be lit. So, I don't know your actual name.
Oh, Rich Maciel.
You introduce yourself.
Okay. Good evening. First of all, my crew would like to extend their condolences to all of you through what you're going through. We get the ability to trade around if people get kind of tired and want to get back to their families, and my crew has not volunteered. They want to stay because of you and your community. I was actually raised and graduated from Fort Lupton High School and was a volunteer fireman there for 13 years. So when this disaster came, we had a call in, and I volunteered to be the main liaison to do this for Lyons, because it's easier for me to identify with people such as yourself rather than, you know, a big city. So I've talked to some of you out on the streets, and you're very friendly. You offer food, you offer water. I really appreciate that. I'd kind of like to address the fact of the turn-on, which was a little bit of a surprise today, but that's okay. We have natural gas already to the community, but we are going to put locks on each valve so that you can't turn yourselves on yourselves. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of experience with regard to that, and the furnace has gone out in the middle of the night and you've relit the pilot, or the water heater has gone out and you've gone ahead and relit that, or it's an electronic ignition system. But this is different. It really is. We have an apprenticeship program that we put our people through for 4 years with intense study with regard on how to do this and recognize hazards. We need you there so that we can visually inspect venting, things that a vent pipe might have come off, caused carbon monoxide. You may have had a heater that quite possibly has a cracked heat exchanger, and you may not know it. So let us, the experts, take care of that. We really are rather insistent that we do that so that we know, our customers are safe when that thing is turned on. So we have 24-hour service. When we first talked about it, we thought maybe the whole town was going to come on at one time, and sometimes it's good to be a huge company, because I have resources that I could bring, 40, 50 people in here to get that process taken care of in an expedient manner. So let us do it, and it'd be a lot safer So we'll work with Veronica, or excuse me, Victoria. Yeah, one of those V's. As to how systematically, you wanna do that. We'll do anything what the city would like us to do. We have as big of interest, and quite honestly, as the Lord is my judge, to me and to my crew, it's not turning on our cash register so we can start getting money back. I assure you, it has nothing to do with my crew and myself and with Davey here. It's to try and get you back in your homes and back to the life that you had before. It's just it's a tremendous thing what you all have gone through and the resiliency that you have. So, does anybody have any questions? Oh, okay. They'd like me to hold questions until the end, but I will answer those.
Your question may be covered, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your questions might be covered by some of the presenters. So next we'd like to have J.J. Hoffman from the Lyons Fire Protection District give a statement on behalf of their board.
Good evening. I know I missed the last community meeting. Obviously, we've been busy. We've had feet on the ground from day one. We're all tired. We're here to support the community. And sorry. It's been tough, but we're here for you guys. Myself and Victoria have had a lot of pressure on us from day one. Lyons is my hometown too. I grew up there. I went to school there. It's important to me that we rebuild the community, and we're there as the fire department to help you guys out and do as best job as we can. As you know, we had a long search and rescue mission. It wasn't just Lyons residents. It was Larimer County. We have a lot of folks that live up in the Larimer County portion of our district. People from Pinewood Springs that were trapped, people from Big Elk, Allens Park, Riverside, Raymond. And it took us a long time to build roads, to get Task Force 1, the FEMA Task Force 1 team that was a great asset into those areas to help us search for people, get people out safely, and make sure everybody was alive and on their best well-being they could have. So, now that we're finally through that, the emergency is kind of over for that portion, and now the emergency is getting the town rebuilt, getting infrastructure replaced, and making sure we provide safety and keep all of you safe while you're there. So, I do have a press release that we put out yesterday. I do want to read it, so have some of you seen our press release yet? Couple? All right, well, I guess we'll read it. And just to really give you guys a picture of where we are as far as a fire protection district, we're working very closely with the town and with the utility contractors to make sure, as Excel said, we want to do this in a safe fashion to make sure everybody gets in their home safely. We understand winter's coming, and that's a priority too. We don't want pipes breaking and then we have another flood issue. So we understand that, and we understand people want to get home. I have a lot of firefighters that lost homes, and they want to get home and find a new place as well. So believe me, we all up here recognize that very much from all of you. We understand your needs, and we're trying to accommodate you as much as we can. First and foremost, Lyons Fire Protection District would like to thank all the volunteer staff, contractors, responding agencies, and all of you that helped us during this flood event. Lyons is a great community, tight community. We all came together. We had local contractors with backhoes and loaders and CDOT loaders, and everybody everybody lending a hand. You know, those first 4 days were terrible. First 5 days, whatever it was. I mean, some of it's pretty much a blur now because my head's just been so wrapped around it and trying to continue the mission. But anyway, the citizens came out and helped us save lives. And all of you, you know, that were up there that helped us, you know, hands off to you guys. And again, the Fire Protection District extends its sincere thanks to all of you that helped us save those people, get them out to safety, and get them onto shelter. So thanks for that. Lyons Fire Protection District was measurably affected by the flood. One of the district's primary fire trucks is currently irretrievable and possibly destroyed. I'm sure you've seen the news media. One of our brand new trucks that we just bought and just got in service about, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago is stuck up Longmont Dam Road and will probably be there for the next few months. Lyons Fire Station number 2, which is up by the Little Thompson, X-Bar 7 area, up by Blue Mountain, Gray Mountain, received heavy damage and probably it will be a total loss. Half of it's hanging over the river. You can walk in our bays right now and see the water still flowing by. Many of our volunteer firefighters have been evacuated and some have lost their homes as well. We are currently isolated from several of our primary mutual aid agencies due to road closures. These primary mutual aid agencies are people like Pinewood Springs, Big Elk, Allens Park, Estes Park, everybody up above that we rely on to bring us water in the event of a fire if we're in the rural community. Response for medical emergencies is available but delayed and limited due to some of the areas in the district still remain inaccessible by vehicle. Obviously the river has made its own path. We have a hard time getting to places. We still have approximately 94 homes in our district that we have not even gotten to yet. Mostly up the canyons, up in the X-Bar 7 Blue Mountain, Gray Mountain area. We did make the river crossing. It's a temporary river crossing that's holding good now that the river's finally gone down. But we still have a lot of isolated areas in our district that we still haven't been to. The Task Force 1 team did make it in. We airlifted people out of a lot of those places, but as far as medical, you know, there were some folks that decided to stay, and you know, we can't get to them. We'll get a helicopter in there if we can, but we still have, you know, limited access. At this time, as I'm sure you all know, there are no working fire hydrants in our district anywhere. We have no static water pressure. Some fire suppression water supply is available, however, it is minimal. It is a minimal amount that is staged in various locations. Water tankers and portable ponds have been loaned to our district from neighboring fire districts and contractors. When you come into town, you'll see a big water tanker right across from the fire station and a bunch of plastic porta ponds is what we call them. We're working with the town and also some people to get some donations of some large water tankers that we are going to sporadically place throughout town so we have more water capabilities. But again, this is not pressurized water like we're used to. It's just a tank that we can fill the tank truck to haul it to the fire to put the fire out. So we're working on that as we speak. Day by day, as Victoria said, you know, they made the crossing today. Things are happening. Things are changing in Lyons, and we're slowly getting there. The X-Bar 7 and Blue Mountain areas are only accessible by a temporary crossing over the Little Thompson River. We have staged 1 ambulance and 1 small truck with 2 volunteers who live in that area. The fire suppression water supply in these areas is also very limited. We have lots of water all over Lyons. The problem is we can't get to it anymore. We have drafting capabilities on our trucks, but now the river's 200, 300 feet away and we can't get down the banks to get our hoses in to suck the water out, so that's the issue. We urge residents to be alert for safety issues as you work with your utility companies in restoring your services, as we just talked. We are working with the Town of Lyons to develop a plan to ensure utility services are safely restored in phases based on damage in various areas. Most of you know, you've been through the town, and there's power poles broken everywhere, there's gas lines broken everywhere, there's water mains broken everywhere, and we have to take it slowly. And we're doing the best as we can as the fire department to ensure that that's safely done and we have no more issues. There are still numerous hazards and safety concerns traveling in and around Lyons. You've seen all the roads washed out, the bridges washed out. We're doing our best to try to work with the town, CDOT, everybody else to put barricades up, put cones up, especially at night when people are driving around, so somebody doesn't drive off into the river or something like that. Please be vigilant and aware of your surroundings, property, and the community as we work to rebuild this great town. So we're here for you, and I'll take questions afterwards. I'll step back in the corner. I'm sure some of you have a lot of questions, and just know that we're here to help.
Okay, because we started 15 minutes late, I guess we're going to go an extra 15 minutes here, but I want to give you two other quick updates. One is in regard to water, and I'm going to have Jim Blankenship, our town engineer, tell you the status of the water system after this week's full assessment, and then wastewater. I do want you to know that the Board of Trustees tonight authorized a contract with a company named Filance to start the temporary wastewater plant improvements so that we can get the plant operating. Again, one major step closer to getting the system up and going. So they did approve that tonight at their special meeting. We did have a board meeting on Monday as well. I should tell you that, I guess. The board did authorize an amendment to our current procurement policies. The town administrator has always been able to approve only up to $5,000 without board approval. During this emergency, they've authorized up to $100,000 without board approval. And the contract tonight was for $270,000 to start the wastewater plant recovery. So they did approve that. They also, they did authorize the town administrator to be able to close our parks as I see fit. The parks are a wreck, and Meadow Park is just very unstable, very rocky. Structures are down in there, and so, and Bone Park has just been wiped. It's just a large sandbar with cliffs and areas that are broken and pipes everywhere. And so we really don't want people to go into the parks until those are more stabilized. So they authorized that to do as people come back home. If we see people in unsafe situations, we will close the parks. And thirdly, they did authorize a curfew. Again, in response to people saying it was difficult to get home by dusk when we were on the dusk to dawn, they have authorized that you can come in and out of town between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. And there will be individual circumstances, we know, where people work till 11 or whatever, no problem, we will work with you. But it is my understanding that we've been really fortunate to have the National Guard and the Boulder County Sheriff with our, yeah, you can give them a hand. For lack of a better term, guarding our entryway, the one. And we are hearing that those resources are most likely going away. So we're going to make some phone calls tomorrow, see what we can come up with to try to secure those a little longer. We really don't feel we're at a point that we want tourists and people in town not understanding the lay of our land and getting into trouble, safety-wise, going past barricades or into areas of neighborhoods that just aren't safe. So we're going to continue to work on that, but that does evolve. Again, every day, every hour, things come to light and change. So 10 p.m. now, we'd like you to try to be home by then. so people aren't driving out in the dark where it's not very easy to see the new cones or the new barricades that were placed differently that day. So Jim, I'd like you to give a quick update on the water system and what we discovered since last Thursday. And water and sewer, if you want to.
Unless Sean wants to come up. It's going to be hard to be brief about something that's so detailed and important. But I'll start out first. Today we had the FEMA people in that did the assessment. There were 7 of them, and Mayor Von Dam has been very clear that we need a lot of money. So we parked over in Meadow Park today. They had their own car. There was 8 of them in 2 cars, and hopped out, and they said to them, make sure that you put your money in the kiosk, and that goes for each one of you. So we're trying everything we can, but so I've got good news, and I've got good news that some of you are going to say that's good news, and it's related to the sewer. We have our contract wastewater operator, AWWS, Sean Dibble. He's here, and Linda's here too. All right. And these people go in places that most of us would never want to go to. Count me in on that. They're digging in the sewers. They're figuring out what's going on. And Sean and his support staff and Linda have been in there getting into our systems. They've been supported by Public Works to find manholes and try to discover just what it is in the areas that we just can't see. So unlike electric and the things that are above ground, we've really got to have ways to get in underneath and make those assessments. Sean's done a great job. Thank you. And what we found, this week is that it looks like our influent sewers underneath the creek are still there, and they look like they can be captured for use without much more greater effort than we've already made. There are still some things to do to clear the way, but it looks like we've made great progress with that. The good news, it's not really good news, and the reason it's good news to me is because now I know something about it, is we're getting a tremendous amount of infiltration into the sewers, and essentially what's happening is the groundwater is so high that the water is traveling along the surfaces from people's houses, and it's coming into the main. And that's one of the things that we really got to fight as we try to get our plant back up in operation, because that has a tremendous effect on it. We really just want to treat the waste that's in the stream and a minimal amount of the groundwater. So we've got a little bit of work to do on that, but we'll get it figured out. On the water side of things, we're working closely with the City of Longmont, who's our treated water provider. And we're working with also other partnering agencies, including Denver Water, Aurora Water, the City of Boulder, and the City of Golden on our implementation plan for getting our systems back up and going. So this is a really big effort, and part of that big effort is we're not going to give anybody water until we know that water's safe and it's properly been put into place. And one of the things that's happened over the years is, and you've seen this in Alamosa most recently, is the E. coli strain has completely contaminated the water system, and it's taken a long time to get it out. And these people that we have in here now that are helping us out were involved in, specifically in Alamosa's recovery. And part of the reason we have them here is because we do have breaks in the water main, and we do have river water that is in our pipes right now in some places. So not everybody's meter's been turned off. If you have water flowing in your house or through your tap, it's got E. coli in it. It's bad, don't use it. And we want to make sure that when we get this system back up and going, and it takes time to do that, putting a water system back in order involves a lot of things that take time. You have to do such things as testing the water, and it takes time to get those results back, and we're looking at bringing a mobile lab into town so we can do it right there as quickly as we possibly can. But it does take time to do that, and what we don't want to do is start to get this thing back up and running and cut a corner somewhere and take the whole system down again. So we found one break on the transmission main leading into town. We have not still been able to get to the transmission main up through Apple Valley because it's still under the river. So we're making contingency plans for that, including reaching out to Boulder County for alternate options of an entirely brand new line. So that's a distinct possibility. But we're moving ahead, and we'll continue to feed you information as we have it. Thanks.
Okay. All right. We're going to finish up here. In regard to water and sewer, We are still at the no flush. Flush nothing down your toilet, flush nothing down your sinks, okay? No fluids. The more you do that, the more work it causes for these guys, and the more the likelihood is that it's going to come up in your neighbors or people below you, elevation-wise, in their basements and bathrooms and things like that. Put nothing down the sewer system, okay? Okay, so let's see. The only other thing I was asked to touch upon tonight, we are meeting with FEMA tomorrow. We had what was called the rapid assessment team here today. They took a look to confirm that our preliminary damage assessment looked reasonable, that it did appear that it was beyond the means of the town, the county, and the state to handle financially. And tomorrow, we are going to a meeting to be assigned, hopefully, a team of people that will be assigned specifically to Lyons and will be here on the floor with us for, who knows, 6 to 12 months to help us work through this process. So we're excited to get that started. I know we're all anxious, and we will start working with them tomorrow and make a formal request that we need assistance on our public infrastructure. So that starts tomorrow. I know there's been some questions on building permits, and I know some of you are anxious to get going on that. The Board of Trustees next Monday is going to be considering how they want to handle building permits. We're going to probably bring in several several people to come in and start working on those. And they will be deciding if they are going to be waiving some of those permit fees, or if they're going to be reduced rates, or what the case is. So if you apply for a building permit between now and next Tuesday, you'll pay full price for that permit. If you hang on till after Monday night, you might get that at a reduced or free rate, okay? Please, again, know that there are still people that are nowhere near. I mean, I actually had a person come in who's working on a addition to their house right now, and they wanted that. And it's like, we have people here that have nothing, and they're coming first right now. So we will have more information on that also coming out after Monday night's meeting. If you have a placard on your house, some people are asking what's the red, yellow, and green mean, and the orange. The orange stickers were from the original first few days of search and rescue. All that meant was that the search and rescue team went to this location and made contact, and that it's been cleared that no one is in this building. Okay, that's all the orange means. Same with vehicles, orange. That means we checked this vehicle, no one was in it. Now, since then, the building inspectors have been in your homes, or on the exterior of your homes, around your homes. If you have a red placard, that means they feel it is unsafe to enter. Okay? That means you should not go in there without having an inspector with you. If you have a yellow sticker, it's just like the stoplight, it means they see conditions that may be unsafe, and it appears that there is there is damage that could be unsafe. And then a green means they've been around your property and it's safe to enter, okay? So that's what those mean, and those were by our local building inspector. If you have a red tag, we encourage you not to go in at all, okay? Contact your insurance agent, contact the building permits department, and someone will go with you, all right? And lastly, Julie, what else? Oh, it does not mean it's condemned. That's kind of been something that's not quite understood. Some people have the impression that the town's going to come in and just level, sections of homes. That is not the case. It will be decided as we work through this process if portions of property should not be rebuilt. That's true. But the town has no intent at this point to come in and just bulldoze homes or remove them. It is currently your private property, and that has yet to be determined how we're going to be proceeding in areas where there may be numerous homes, all right? So just hang tight with that. We are not condemning your homes. Right now, we are just doing safety. Red means your home is not safe to enter. Okay? Sergeant Parker, do you want to make a comment? Okay, come on up. And then we'll answer a few questions.
No, hold that one. I'll remember that. And just so you know, the sheriff's department is not going away. The National Guard will go away. They have other places they're needed. And we're still working hard to come up with how we're going to manage it. You will see a considerable number of officers in town, day and night. I was just sitting over here texting with my boss on how long and how legally and how we can continue to man the closure. At some point, that will go away. It's in a little bit of flux as to when. But irregardless of that, the Boulder Sheriff's Department's part of this community. Sheriff Pelley is committed to staffing and securing this community. And I'm not really the sergeant of this community anymore, but obviously it's hard to get rid of me. So what I would encourage you is to help us keep you safe. If there's a deal that's offered to you that's too good to be true, it probably is. If you see somebody at your neighbor's home that doesn't look like they should be there, their neighbor's not there, call us. If you see a community group that just doesn't sit right, call us. I can guarantee you'll see one of us much quicker than you ever would have before. Don't hesitate to stop and talk to every officer you see, because then they get to know you, and expect them to stop and talk to you every time they see you so they know who you are. We're going to continue to work with this community for the long haul, and we are not going away. No question about that. Thank you.
You know, just for the record, so that we're keeping track of what all the good things that happen every week, we do need to note that, you know, the St. Vrain Valley School District reopened their new school this week, and they started bus service from our area. So that's amazing that they were able to get that accomplished this week. Okay, we will take 12 minutes of questions. Yes. The question is, in unincorporated areas, can they schedule a gas delivery? And yes, the answer to that is you can, and we've been letting propane trucks through. And water, yeah, and trash service. Okay, yes? I know. Yeah, that's still the tough question. How long can we plan before we can come back? You know, my goal, honestly, and it's going to be pushing some folks, but I really want everybody home for the holidays. That's kind of our schedule. So I am telling people, you know, if you're going to sign leases, try to get a 3-month lease, you know, instead of, don't do 6 months. I really want people home and way before that. But again, that changes every week. We make progress, we take back steps, but the largest item right now for us to address is the water lines. Yeah. Lori? The question was, have they decided if they're going to try to change the course of the South St. Vrain? And I really, when we were in those meetings, I did not hear anyone representing that group. But if it's restored to its pre-flood channel. My guess is that would be the entire length of that, but I really don't know that. I was not in discussions about that portion of the river. Yes, Crystal? Sewer gas. It was about, well, what do we do with our toilets? You know, there couldn't be sewer gas that could come back up, correct? Yeah. I heard one little tip, and I don't know if it works or not, but I heard you put a tennis ball in a sock, and you put that in your toilets, and that will prevent some of that sewer gas smell from coming up. Are there other tips for sewage not to come up? Oh, some people are covering their systems with saran wrap and duct tape. If I can find some other hints about that, I will try to get those out. Okay? I'm going to finish up this room. Anybody else on this side right here? In the back. I can't see who it is. I think what we'll do is we'll put out a blast, first of all, an e-blast, and on our website, trying to give people a couple of days' notice that we plan to turn on this section. And if we know folks, and it's worked pretty well so far the way we've been communicating, so we'll continue to do that. Then when we maybe get caught up, we'll notify people individually if we can. But I think it will just have to be through our normal means of an e-blast, a website, announcements here, that sort of thing. Yes, one other question on that section. Yes. That's probably a good question. I guess that has not been on my forefront, so I don't have an answer for you now, but okay, well that's a good question then for us to be aware of, and we have been issuing contractors permits to those that we know are involved, or insurance companies and that sort of thing. Let me work on that one. Let me work on that. Thank you. September 27th? Okay. Roof contractors. All right, and you had a second question? The library board is meeting on that. They're their own district now, and I know they've met. And why don't I plan to have them speak for a few minutes on next Thursday? You're welcome. Okay, how about over in this section, back in the turquoise? Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh. Yeah. I know. Unfortunately, we really don't know yet. Until the river is decided, we can't really even design some of the infrastructure. And like I said, a permit an application to move it back has been submitted. And it was my understanding that due to our circumstances, they hope to make that decision very quickly. So I really don't know. In regard to utilities, again, my goal is by next Thursday to have a better idea of each section of town and what you can expect. So we will work diligently to try to get some at least better direction, so we'll know at least if we're talking weeks, months, or whatever. Okay. You're welcome. Over here, every week on Thursday at 7 o'clock, if you want to miss whatever the latest is on TV. Yes. Yes. Has the gas company started? Oh my gosh, those guys have been working all day, every day. Absolutely. Oh, are you working on your way through Apple Valley yet? Rich?
We had to reroute, you know where that, the road washed out? And so you had to have a road in there. They threw rocks and everything they had available on there on top of our gas line. That's not an issue. We had to get people out. So we rerouted that, put in a new main, air tested it, and should probably by tomorrow morning be able to have gas on there and have it into that system. Actually, we started basically at Highlands Drive and have
Worked their way
our
west.
up
They have
to
worked their
Apple
way all the way through town up to Apple Valley. Yes. Yes. I do have a note here that if you want to meet with Bruce with the Colorado Division of Insurance with insurance questions, he would like to meet with you now if possible. Okay, how about one more here, Sherry? Oh, CenturyLink comes to our infrastructure meeting every day at 4 o'clock, and boy, those guys have been working hard too. I don't know their update today. Was anybody at the 4 o'clock, do you know? Okay, he was not there today to get an update, so sorry, I don't know the answer to that one. Okay, a couple more, I got 3 minutes. Yes. Yes. The ponds, depending on where the river goes, actually they served their purpose well, and they were meant to carry water and do what they did. Very, very preliminarily, I would say we probably will have some form of ponds back. Okay, in the back. Yes. A gas smell? Yeah. Is it on Park and about 4th? Yeah, I have smelled that and called it in as well a couple times. So they're here right now and they're hearing it. When I called it in, they said they were pushing and testing the line, so it was good we were smelling it. I mean, that means they're finding where it's broken. Okay, we will address that, right, guys? Okay, right here. Fifth Avenue Bridge, my understanding was CDOT was there today and removed the restriction on the whole thing or just the east side? It's still one lane, but they've increased the weight. So now large vehicles can go over it. Yes? Yes? And what's the street? We know which one. Okay. We'll make sure that our utility folks know that. Utility lines behind, what was it? Storm drain. It's the storm drain. Just so you know. Yeah, gentleman in the vest. Oh, the post? The road closures? Oh, sure. We will let you know as we do, and you'll find out when you come home that day. But we really want to keep those there. And I'm also even considering ordering some barricades that are just no through traffic to literally put at every block, because we don't need people in any neighborhoods right now that don't live there. We just don't. Yes? I would think that as soon as we get past like this permitting stage, I will make a point about that. I think we should be able to work that out, FedEx and UPS. Okay, one more question over here. Yes, go ahead. Yes, you're welcome. You need to start with your individual assistance from FEMA, and then, okay, they've been there. And then the building, it will be the building inspector. Good question, and why don't you get in touch with Town Hall tomorrow? We could put you directly in touch with him. No, we're not rezoning anything at this point, just so you know, but we can get the building, and he's actually been to every house. So do you have a red placard? Yellow. I know. Yeah, and they only did that from the outside, exterior. They weren't in your homes. Okay, I'm going to take one from this section. Chuck. Oh, two, I guess. Chuck. The only thing I can tell you about US 36 is they are working hard both directions to try to make that road connect back up. Oh, 30, I was thinking 36 North, I'm sorry. I saw that tonight they had one lane that appeared that it was close to being open. I do not have confirmation. Yes.
So the bridge, Highway 36 and 66, one lane is open right now. They're going to work on restoring the other lane, keep that lane open. Also Highway 7.
And that's temporary bridge.
Temporary.
That's a temporary bridge at 3666. They do have one lane open.
And they are trying to rebuild it instead of doing temporary. So one lane's open right now. Highway 7, crews are starting to move in up there today. Through the next few days, there's going to be a lot of heavy equipment moving up towards Highway 7 as well. So
Okay.
those efforts are starting.
Highway 7, crews are moving in to get that repaired as we speak. Okay, one more question in the back and then we're done. There was a gentleman who had a question. Okay? Going once, twice. All right, thank you all. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Take care.